In the previous video, we talked about the great king lion, and today, prepare yourself, because what you are about to discover might completely change the way you see one of the most impressive, enigmatic, and perfectly designed predators of South American nature. The jaguar, the largest feline in the Americas, an animal so powerful that wherever it walks, it leaves behind an invisible trail of respect, silence, and reverence. Even when it's not seen, it is a ghost, a shadow, a force of nature that combines brutality, precision, intelligence, and an almost mystical ancestry, forged over thousands of years among rivers, dense forests, swamps, mountains, and wild territories that few humans ever dared to cross. Today, you are about to enter a fascinating, deep and astonishing universe, the world of the jaguar, and you will uncover truths that almost no one knows about this extraordinary animal. Long before cameras, drones, and documentaries existed, the native peoples already knew. To them, the jaguar wasn't just an animal. It was a spirit, a symbol, a deity. The Maya believed it moved between the world of the living and the spiritual realm. The Aztecs saw it as the peak of masculine strength. Various indigenous groups in Brazil treated it as the guardian of the forest. And there was a reason for that. No other animal in the Americas combined such strength, intelligence, stealth, and majesty as the jaguar. It was, and still is, the pinnacle of the perfect predator. But to understand this predator, we must go back to its origin. The jaguar, Panthera onca, belongs to the same genus as lions and tigers. And although it shares the continent with pumas, wolves, and other predators, its evolutionary lineage is far closer to that of the great Asian felines than to North American carnivores. It arrived in the Americas through the Bering Land Bridge thousands of years ago, and once it reached the tropical forests, it found its evolutionary paradise. Abundant food, rivers full of fish and caimans, large prey, dense vegetation, natural shelters, and no competitors of similar size. It was there that it became the largest feline in the continent. And not just that. The jaguar developed the strongest bite force proportional to body size of any feline in the world. Yes, stronger proportionally than the tigers, and much stronger than the lions. And this force leads to something only the jaguar is capable of. It kills its prey by piercing the skull. But we'll get there. The jaguar isn't as big as a Siberian tiger. It isn't as tall as a lion. But it is dense. A compact, muscular body, as if sculpted for impact. General measurements. Males, 80 to 120 kilos. Some surpass 140 kilo in the Pantanal. Females, 45 to 80 kilos. Shoulder height, 70 to 80 centimeter body length up to 1. 85 millimeters excluding the tail. But the secret is in its anatomy. Broad shoulders, a robust chest, enormous jaws, short and extremely powerful limbs. It is not built for long chases. It is built for explosive ambushes, quick strikes, devastating attacks. In a single leap, it can haul prey weighing 100 kilos into trees, or drag heavy carcasses for dozens of meters. All of this combined with what may be its most lethal weapon. The jaguar's bite force reaches 1,300 psi. Strong enough to crush hooves, break shells, pierce bones, shatter skulls. And unlike most felines, which prefer to suffocate prey with a neck bite, the jaguar uses a unique, precise, brutal technique. It bites directly into the skull, piercing the brain. This strategy evolved specifically to handle prey, such as caimans, capybaras, turtles, tapirs, peccaries. It is a signature, a style, a method, a trademark of the species. The jaguar doesn't fight its prey. It destroys it. If you think the jaguar is simply a land animal, prepare yourself. It is one of the only truly amphibious big cats in the world. In the water, it swims effortlessly. It can dive. It attacks aquatic prey. It ambushes caimans without hesitation. It uses rivers and lakes as hunting routes. On land, it runs fast in short bursts. It moves silently. It camouflages perfectly. It has excellent hearing and smell. In trees, it climbs with agility. It positions itself on branches for ambushes. It uses height to store carcasses away from scavengers. It is like a ghost that has learned to use the forest as an extension of its own body. A jaguar can control enormous territories. In the Amazon, over 80 km² in the Pantanal, between 25 and 40 km² in the Cerrado, up to 100 kilometers, depending on prey availability. But why so much area? Because the jaguar wouldn't hunt efficiently if it lived in groups. It needs silence, space, freedom, and more. It marks every centimeter of its territory with precision. It uses urine scratches, strategically placed droppings, body rubs on trunks, trails repeated for years. It is as if it writes an invisible map that only it can understand. And when another jaguar invades that territory, nature responds. Jaguars avoid fights, but when they do happen, they are quick, violent, and almost always fatal. Disputes between males may involve neck bites, side attacks, attempts to crush the skull, limb-breaking strikes. It is not like lions, fighting openly. It is silent, tense, a war between professional assassins. Females also defend their cubs with extreme ferocity. There are records of females confronting and driving off much larger males just to protect their young. The jaguar is not a social animal, but during reproduction, something changes. The female is in heat for only a few days, and during this brief period, she accepts a male's presence. They mate multiple times, they patrol the area together for a moment. They appear to form a pair, but it's temporary. Once it ends, each one goes their own way. Gestation lasts a little over 100 days, and then, in a hidden, protected, and often unreachable shelter, the new generation is born. Jaguars are born blind, fragile, tiny, weighing only 700 to 900 grams with spots already defined in total dependence on their mother. For weeks, the mother moves the cubs to new hiding spots, constantly hunts and returns silently, risks her own life to protect them, avoids any contact with other adults. Mortality is high. Natural predators are rare, but they exist. Adult male jaguars, anacondas, caimans, large birds of prey in extreme cases. But when they survive, they become hunting machines. The jaguar rarely chases anything. It chooses, observes, waits, and then, when the prey makes the smallest mistake, it strikes like lightning. Common methods: lateral ambush, vertical attack from a tree, slow approach through water, silent advance through tall grass, direct skull bite, nape bite, cervical destruction, shock immobilization. The success rate is extremely high, higher than the lions, higher than the tigers, higher than the cheetahs. The jaguar does not miss. It calculates. It's official. The jaguar has one of the broadest diets in the animal kingdom. More than 85 species have been recorded as potential prey. Capybaras, deer, peccaries, caimans, wild pigs, tapirs, armadillos, giant otters, fish, snakes, turtles, sloths, birds, small mammals, and even domestic animals in human conflict areas. It eats anything it can capture. And this makes it extremely adaptable. That is why, even with habitat loss, the jaguar still finds ways to survive. The jaguar's spots aren't just beautiful. They are weapons. Each rosette breaks the outline of the body, confuses the eyes of prey, and humans blends the animal into its surroundings, creates artificial shadows, imitates vegetation patterns. It is so effective that even large jaguars can walk 3 meters from a human without being seen. That is why it is called the ghost of the forest. The Black Panther of the Americas is a jaguar. Yes, the same species. What changes is the color. Extra melanin creates a dark, almost black coat. but if you look closely under the light, you can still see the spots. It gives advantages in dense forests, night hunts, dark environments, but it is rare, very rare. It's estimated that less than 10% of jaguars are melanistic. When a jaguar disappears, it's not just an animal that vanishes. An entire ecosystem becomes unbalanced. It controls herbivore populations, prevents overpopulation of capybaras, regulates peccaries, maintains river balance by controlling caimans, prevents vegetation destruction from excessive prey numbers. It is a top predator, and without top predators, the entire system collapses. The jaguar is incredibly adaptable. It lives in the Amazon, the Pantanal, the Cerrado, the Atlantic forest, the Caatinga, rare cases, Bolivian and Paraguayan Pantanal tropical forests of Central America, Mexican plains, but it is in the Pantanal and the Amazon that it reaches its peak. The Pantanal is the best place in the world to see wild jaguars. There they are large, heavy, and they face caimans with ease. Myths and truths about jaguars. Myth 1. Jaguars frequently attack humans. False, they avoid humans. Attacks are extremely rare. Myth 2. It's the most aggressive big cat. Partially false. Jaguars are reserved and cautious, but if threatened, they react with astonishing ferocity. Myth 3. They roar like lions. Not exactly. The jaguar's roar is shorter, deeper, and sounds like a monstrous crack. Myth 4. Jaguars and pumas are closely related. False. The puma is genetically far more distant than most people think. The jaguar survived glaciations. It survived entire geological ages. It survived natural climate shifts. But now, it faces its greatest enemy, humans. Main threats: deforestation, habitat loss, poaching conflicts with ranchers, roadkill population, isolation, reduction of natural prey. Every destroyed area is like erasing part of the history of an animal that existed long before us. The jaguar doesn't just hunt. It thinks. It is one of the smartest felines on Earth. It has sharp spatial memory, problem-solving skills, adaptation to altered environments, rapid learning, strategic behavior. It observes, analyzes, makes decisions. And this intelligence is what keeps the species alive, even as humans advance. Encountering a wild jaguar is one of the most impactful experiences a human can have, not because of fear, but because of its energy. Because when you look into a jaguar's eyes, you instantly understand. You are not at the top. You are not in control. You are only a visitor in the realm of an absolute predator. It is an ancestral, almost spiritual feeling. Despite everything, the jaguar is resisting, thanks to conservation projects, reintroduction in restored areas, ecological corridors, protective laws, sustainable tourism, growing public awareness. Today, more people want to protect the jaguar than to eliminate it, and that may be the key to its future. The jaguar is more than a feline, more than a predator, more than a symbol. It is the living manifestation of the wild strength of the Americas. It is the guardian of rivers, forests, prey, and balance. Where there is a jaguar, there is life. Where it disappears, everything weakens. If we want to preserve the heart of the forests, we must preserve the jaguar. Because in the end, protecting the jaguar is not just saving an animal, it is saving the wild essence of our continent. It is protecting the spirit of nature. It is defending the silent ghost that has walked among us for thousands of years, keeping the pulse of the forest alive. Did you enjoy learning about this incredible animal? Turn on notifications, subscribe, and stay tuned for our upcoming videos. Every day, a new curiosity about a different animal.